Happy Friday. Welcome to Finance Friday. This is the show where we transform your relationship with your money by giving you all the information you need to grow and protect your wealth. I'm Amy Novakovich, certified financial planner and co-founder of Nova Wealth Management. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We have a bunch of YouTube videos that we put out there. Just go to our website, novawealthmanagement.com. You can find them all there. Definitely share this out. This is going to be one that you will want to watch because it is probably going to answer a lot of the questions. And you didn't answer my question, but I have so many questions. If you ever wanted to ask the fire department or somebody in government. I today have Susan Lindenmuth, Director of Public Affairs, and she's been there for 15 years. So we can ask her all the questions about where our tax money goes, why does the fire department come out to every medical call, all these things. And then we can talk about your FEMA certification. We just have so much to talk about. So please help me welcome Susan. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It is an honor, and it's a great opportunity for me to get out there and talk about something in a little different way. So I'm pretty excited
for sure, because the media, this is not media. And you're used to media.
I am used to dealing with media and the public.
You can peel that away. Yeah, you know, like a lot of people, I would say most people watch this like after the fact.
Yes.
You know.
A little conversation, just a little conversation
for sure.
between friends.
And it's not edited. So it's not like
true.
I can like take little blips of what you say and mash it together and make it sound different.
Gosh, no pressure. No pressure.
Yeah, right. No pressure. Hey guys. Oh, thank you. I like my earrings. So the first thing I do want to ask you is, like, so our tax dollars go to obviously bringing out the fire department. The fire department obviously comes out very, very often, and you had mentioned to me a lot of the calls are preventable. So why don't we start there by telling people, because I think that's very important for those that might not be able to stay the whole time. What is preventable and how do we prevent it?
Sure. So a lot of the calls from motor vehicle crashes to even some of the health issues that we have are very, very preventable. Things, of course, when we talk about car crashes and things, putting down those cell phones.
Jeez, and I was just picking mine up. I was like, I'm going to share this out.
So share this out now because we're sitting
not
in
driving.
the office, but when you're driving, please don't be watching this when you're driving.
Oh my gosh.
And so, you know, those are types of things that we are definitely preventable. Paying attention, being cognizant of what's happening on the road and what you are doing. Put down those distractions, anything from your cell phone to trying to deal with kids in the back. I mean, we know that, oh my gosh, our kids are the biggest distraction sometimes. Everything including
really bad
eating. Eating can be a huge distraction. So we want to make sure that we look out for those things. So
I do it at stoplights in my defense. Like when I say I'm bad at it, everybody don't think when you see me driving down the road, like, oh gosh, she's multitasking.
So the sheriff's office don't watch.
Right. No, but I mean like at stoplights even. Like I'll be like handing my kids something or like looking at them and and you're not really paying attention, then the light turns green, then you get honked at. Like
exactly. Well, and even turning onto a road where you may have right turn access. A lot of people will go and look to the left and get ready to turn, and they don't look to the right and they move forward. And we've had some vehicles versus pedestrian crashes or even bicycles do that. So again, preventable, just paying attention to what's going on around you. Now, when it comes to health things, now this is what you probably don't want to hear, but I'm going to say it anyway. All the doctors out there are going to love me. The things your doctors tell you to do, they tell you to do for a reason. So about 80% of the calls that we run at Estero Fire Rescue, and I think that's probably somewhere between the 75 and 80% mark for most fire departments that run medical calls, are medical related calls. Those are the primary numbers. They're not fire related calls. We've done a great job over the years of education, engineering, and enforcement when it comes to fire prevention.
Right.
Now
we learn fire prevention when we're like in second grade. Isn't that funny? Like we learn about fire prevention and what to do if there is a fire and things like that, but we don't really learn a lot about medical.
Right. So what your doctors are telling you, exercise, eat right, eat vegetables.
You're right, people don't want to hear this.
Lean meats.
They're going to be like,
fiber, exercise, put down the cigarettes, those kinds of things. Increase your activity, limit your sedentary activity. These are things that.
What if I never sit down?
If you never get, you're fine. You're fine. But getting those checkups also are extremely important to your health and to be able to be preventative. watching, if you have high blood pressure, take your medication, listen to the doctors, follow your diet. Those types of things are absolutely 100% preventable.
And you saying that the fire department gets called for this type of stuff?
Yeah, we do. So
tax dollars pays for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So here's what we did in Estero. Many years ago, when we started to grow as a community,
and Estero has been growing like crazy.
You know, Estero is one of the fastest growing areas. We went to the community, had a town hall meeting, and said, what do you want from your fire department?
Yes.
And we came back with some great things, and one of those was to be able to follow up on medical calls. So we became what's called ALS, or Advanced Life Support. Now, Advanced Life Support means that on every truck that runs, we have at least one paramedic. A paramedic and an EMT. Sometimes we luck out on a shift and we get 2 paramedics, but there's at least one paramedic on every rig that runs out. Wow. Those rigs also have the same medications and capabilities as the ambulances. The only difference is we don't transport. Now, why is that important? That is important because in Lee County specifically, there are a larger number of fire departments and fire trucks available on the road than there are ambulances. So what happens, there quicker. It gives us a chance to get there to help out the ambulance and make sure that we can get there, treat and stabilize the patient, and then the ambulance can transport. We work very closely and very well with our ambulance, with Lee County EMS, and you know, it's a wonderful partnership that we have with them. But then as they are treating and dealing with that patient, we can go back online and we are ready for the next call. If you've been anywhere around Estero or Bonita or anywhere in Lee County during season, you know, that can be critical. So having more people on the roads, more capable people to be able to deal with medicals. So
you do that because the community voted it in.
The community voted it in Estero.
So people watch from all around the country. So their communities have to kind of vote this in for that to be.
They don't have to vote it in. It was just something that we chose to do. Now, many of the districts, the fire districts in Lee County, are Advanced Life Support. So they're doing the same thing that we're doing. So that's why you often see a fire truck run with an ambulance. It's because we help them out. Now, the other side of that is when you get a serious medical call, like a cardiac arrest, it takes all hands on deck to deal with this. And more than just the 2 people that are normally carried on an ambulance.
I was just going to ask you that. How many people are usually in an ambulance? And how many people are usually going out on a fire truck?
Depends on the truck and it depends on the agency, but anywhere from 3 to 5, depending on what's
going on. There's a lot more people.
A lot more hands.
Because I was telling you, like, you know, my son in the middle of the night, like, we would call, like, doing his breathing, and the fire department would show up. I was like, confused. Like,
I know. Well, that's because, you know,
you can't breathe.
And it does,
but now it's very helpful.
And think about this too, in season. When there are so many more people, of course, there's going to be so many more calls. So those ambulances can get tied up on a number of calls. And if you had to wait just for an ambulance, you might be waiting a long time. So to be able to,
which could be life or death.
Absolutely.
So obviously we appreciate
So having the fire department be able to get there and stabilize, treat the patient, and allows the ambulance to free themselves up.
So that obviously, like, just trying to bring it back to finance a little bit, I guess, that obviously costs the community a little bit more because you have to staff more, you have to have more people on deck.
In order to meet those calls, that's right. So here's where you can come in. That's right. So if you're decreasing the calls by taking care of yourself, care of your health, care of your own surroundings, and we can talk about fire prevention.
Yes, exactly.
Then you are going to help in that by all means. But we do our very best to be very good stewards of dollars. We sit down all the time with our chief, with our commissioners, and even with members of the public that come to our board meetings. And we talk about, you know, here's what our needs are. Here's what the community needs as we grow. And this is what we're looking at doing. And we try to be as careful as we can with those dollars.
Good. And I'll circle back to that in a minute. But let's stay on fire prevention. So, you know, we get so concerned. Like, for instance, and this is probably incredibly stupid, and I'm sorry.
And you're going to say this in front of everybody.
I'm going to say it in front of everybody. But I buy my kids LED night lights because I don't want to leave like a night light plugged in all night. because I'm like, what if it catches fire? Or like a fan, I never want to set anything by it because I'm like, what if it catches fire? You know, like, so are all the, you know, so what are the major things that we do need to worry about? Like, especially at night when you, and do you need to test fire detectors every month?
Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So October is Fire Prevention Month, so we're very excited about this.
Yay! I probably should have said that in the beginning.
Yes,
Fire 10 minutes in, it's fine.
So Fire Prevention Month, although for us, fire prevention is
always
365.
Right.
And we do education year round. But particularly this month, we want to focus on having an escape plan. Now, having an escape plan, let's go back to the prevention side of that. Think about when you get a vehicle, when you get a new home, when you get something, you buy insurance for that.
Correct.
You buy insurance for that just in case.
Just in case.
The things that we tell you to do are going to be for that same thing.
Correct.
So prevention is always the first line of defense.
Okay.
Things like making sure that the kitchen, by the way, is the #1 place where we see fires. That's the #1 place in the home, because that is the place that generates heat the most.
Right.
Ovens, microwaves, things like that. Right. It's also, believe it or not, where we spend a lot more time. People don't realize you spend a lot of time in the kitchen.
Right.
So kitchen is a #1 thing that we look for.
Okay.
When we look for a fire prevention plan, making sure that is safe. But then we talk about things like our dryers.
Right.
Cleaning the lint out of the dryer is a big deal. We have lint fires that happen almost every month.
Really?
But yes, because what happens is, although you clean the lint out of the screen, and you should do it every load, if you're not doing it, teenagers, do it. I know my teenagers are awful, and if my daughters are watching this, they're going to yell at me.
Like, okay, Mom.
Clean that out, but also take time to clean out the dryer vent itself. Whether you do it yourself or you call a company to have them do that. Call and have someone come out, or even have someone come out to do a service on your dryer. Have them check it out and clean all of that out of there. Lint builds up.
How often should you do that?
At least once a year.
Okay.
Lint builds up outside of that drum and can actually cause, because the heat built up in order to dry your clothes can get very high. And that heat can then set that lint on fire. So that's one thing that we always want to talk about.
Got it.
When it comes to prevention in the home, of course, making sure that candles, everybody loves candles, particularly as Halloween rolls around and the holidays come up and they smell so wonderful. They are also very, very dangerous. So if you're going to use them carefully and use them wisely. Make sure that they are in a container that can contain them. Nothing is around it that can be flammable.
Yes.
Keep them away from curtains. If you're like me, I have some cats that think that the entire world belongs to them, and they love to climb on everything. Yes, and there's been a couple of times if I had a candle, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, the cat's tail is going right over that. Now I've got, so pets can be a real issue. If you've got one of those wild, crazy dogs that has the tail that just sweeps everything off of the table on the coffee table, those are things you want to be cognizant of. Small children, make sure that you keep them away from small children. And here's the thing, don't leave the room if that candle is still burning. If you leave the room, blow that candle out. Right? Any open flame is an opportunity for a fire.
So why do you think most fires happen in the kitchen? Like, what can we do to prevent that, though? I mean, like the oven, leaving it on, is that what it's doing?
Well, sometimes it can be that. It can be things that are spilled in the oven that can mostly cause a lot of smoke. But if you haven't cleaned out your oven in a while, and you kind of open it up.
Auto cleaners.
Some don't use it, some don't know how to use it. So make sure that you clean that. But the biggest thing that we have is usually things left on the stove. People will walk away from something, get distracted by these things right here.
Oh, I know.
They get distracted, they walk away, and they leave things on the stove. Or something that's flammable, such as a dish towel or paper towels.
The toaster oven.
Clothing.
When you leave things on the toaster oven, it will melt them. I discovered this the hard way.
See? Yes.
And that could have totally burnt up, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
You leave it right on top of the toaster oven, and it just
and I think some of us also have some bad habits too. And bad habits, think about when you bring in your groceries every day every week from the grocery store, Do you put them on the counter, or do you just kind of line the counter and ended up putting them on the stove? Watch those buttons. Are you bumping those buttons? Is there an opportunity for that to get turned on? And speaking of toasters, if you've got items that are plugged in, that stay plugged in on your counter, unplug those. Yeah. Just leave them unplugged.
I've heard
Plug them in when you need them.
Right. Yeah. But not the microwave, though.
Not the microwave.
Okay. Because I've heard that too.
Yeah, not the microwave.
That's pretty extreme.
And here's the thing. If you have a fire, something flares up in your microwave or your oven, the best thing that you can do is keep the door closed and turn it off. That will contain or compartmentalize that fire, and it will stay right there. Okay. Now, you still want to call 911. Why? Because if that fire gets out of control, the fire department is there. Right. But if you need to file an insurance claim, your insurance company is going to want a copy of the fire reports. Yes. We can't do it after the fact.
Yeah, yikes. Do you deal with insurance at all?
We do not, thank goodness.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because man, that would be a whole nother heyday of questions on insurance claims on that stuff.
No, that would be awful.
So in hurricanes, because we almost had a scare again this time where, man, you would have thought the zombie apocalypse was coming when we thought, what was the hurricane?
Hurricane Irma.
No, Dorian.
Oh, Dorian. Oh, yes, Dorian.
Dorian. Yes, Irma was 2 years ago. No, when Dorian was coming, everybody takes the water off all the shelves. The gas is gone. Yeah. You know, how does the fire department? What do you guys hoard gas too and water? Because I mean, what happens? I think about this because there's a lot of people that do stay that don't leave. Are you required to go out? Like, how does that work? So people know, because I don't know. People sometimes in conversations, we panic thinking, well, what if they can't get to us? What if they have no gas? What if they have no water, so they don't have any staff? What if they evacuated? So how does that work?
So first of all, we're not going anywhere. We're going to stay here. Now, we are going to be as prepared as we can. The first part of that is, of course, heeding the preparations that we tell everybody. Make sure you have enough drinking water, enough non-perishable
Not for
foods.
Like the next 8 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, but
just for like the next 2 weeks.
But understand something. Our preparation
they hoard
is year round. We do a training program for the residents in Estero called Prepare Like a Native. Oh, nice. Prepare like a native. So
because a lot of people come from up north.
Where does that come from?
Right.
I am a native of Lee County. I am a 6th generation Lee County native.
Oh my goodness.
And all of my life,
you're a rare breed.
Yes, I am. So if you had a treasure hunt or something, you needed to find a native, let me know and I'll sign your card. So what does that mean? Well, for me, growing up, I can remember it was part of our lifestyle. Every week or every 2 weeks when we went to the store or did something, we would pick up things that we knew we needed for our preparedness kits.
And I guess that makes sense because growing up in Wisconsin, we would do like tornado drills. Right. Because tornadoes were coming.
Correct.
So we would do tornado drills to make sure we're prepared in case of a tornado.
Right.
So like everybody like in Wisconsin, you know, will freak out when they hear like a hurricane's coming. Like,
sure, they don't know what to do.
What's going on, you know? And I mean, I guess we're just kind of used to it now down here. But that does make sense that if you're from here, you would do things to prepare for what you know could happen.
Exactly.
They do that anywhere else.
Year round, because here's the thing. One, if you do it year round, it's not a pressure that you feel, oh my goodness, the end is coming, and you get this anxiety that you have to deal with this.
Yeah.
The second thing is if you're prepared, you're less likely to be panicked. And that anxiety is going to come way down. And third is you're not fighting with everybody, trying to get the same supplies everybody else is. And 4, you're not going to have to shell out a bunch of money. Let's talk money.
Bring it back to money.
So let's talk money.
Yeah.
In our home, and I'll use my own home, we have a special section in our pantry area that is all non-perishable food. So I have my snacks, I have my soups, I have things like that that I can use should I need them. They're not things that I normally rotate through on a regular basis. Okay. This is not the normal supply.
No, this is the emergency supply.
However, about every year, I do rotate those things out to make sure that everything is still fresh and that everything is still.
Oh, you're really prepared.
Nope, this is the way we were raised. This is native. This is native.
And this is good because none of us are from here.
Yes, the other thing is water. Everybody goes and gets these big, huge things of water. Now, I prepare, and I tell people, prepare for 10 days. Are you going to need it? Probably not.
Okay.
But if you have it, you're not going to need it.
You're good.
You're good. Exactly. So do we need to go and get 400 cases of water? Well, you could. We say have 1 gallon per person per day. Also per
gallon
pet.
Of water per person
Think
per
about
day.
it. What happens? It happens during the summertime.
Yes.
You're not going to have an air conditioner. It's going to be
a gallon of water.
You will be surprised how fast you go through that, but you can also use it for other things.
Well, that's
Don't forget your pets.
Brushing your
pets
teeth.
are important.
Yes.
That's right. Brushing your teeth, those kinds of things. So, can you get away with not having these big, huge cases? Yes.
Well, we have like the big 5-gallon jugs, actually,
you're more than
which
welcome
work
to
really
do that.
well.
Sure.
Yeah. Or like the water services.
Milk jugs. Rinse those out. We keep a couple of those. We fill those up as season rolls around. So it doesn't have to be a big expense. That's the thing. If you buy
just fill them
things
up
over time.
Yeah.
But here's the thing too. You need to have a plan. You need to have a list of what you think you're going to need.
Nobody here has a plan, I feel like. Because I'm telling you guys, if you were not here a month ago when that hurricane was almost coming,
sure,
you would have to see it to experience it. Like the shelves are empty. Like I went to Costco.
Oh yeah.
The Gatorade was gone.
Yes.
Water, Gatorade, gone.
Yes.
See ya.
And you do want to have things like Gatorade because, you know, when you have the heat and you sweat, you are going to get rid of salts, electrolytes, magnesium, potassium.
Yes.
You want to be able to put those back in. So
you know what I did? Money saving tip. I bought the electrolyte baggies from Costco that you just add in. There's like 100 of them in these things instead of buying container after container.
And if you've got kids,
that's
juice boxes.
Yeah.
You know, and here's the thing, those don't have to be refrigerated right away.
Right.
Put those away. You can put them in your pantry area.
So just store them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. If you need a list of things, you can go to.
Hopefully share this out. Everybody that watches this, we won't have a giant panic next year.
You go to our website, asterofire.org, and
this is real stuff.
You can link in, and we'll help you get a list of preparedness supplies. But prepare year round.
Yeah.
That way, it doesn't bite your wallet.
Right.
And you don't have to fight everybody, which is great.
Yeah, so speaking of fighting, so one last thing I want to get to is, so you are Director of Public Affairs.
Yes.
So you deal with media.
I do.
Everybody nowadays, I think, is getting in that same mentality that media can't be trusted. So what goes on? So you have to give information to the media. How do you make sure what they're presenting is accurate? Like, do they chop your statements up? Do you yourself talk to the media? Like, walk me through that, your relationship with the media, and how do we know they're telling the truth?
So we have here in Lee County, we are very blessed. We have an amazing working relationship with our media.
Great.
Our media is very good. They're very
so that's
professional.
good to know. Very good.
But you will also see some turnover in some of the media because we have an area that's a little bit of a springboard market.
Yeah.
So they come here, they learn, and they kind of cut their teeth, and then they want to go on.
Yeah.
But those people that are here, those people that are overseeing the editorial desks and things like that are very good people, and they have very good ethics.
Okay,
so we very seldom do we have an issue with that.
Okay.
But when it comes to getting information out, media is not the only way to do it. We do it like this. We can do live feeds. We can do, of course, with other forums. So we can do tell our own stories.
So you guys yourself are on social media and you like go live?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
We sure do. We have Twitter, we have Facebook.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the other side of that is we get access to places that maybe the media can't go for safety reasons.
Right. Okay.
So the relationship that I have and that many of the public information officers with different agencies have is that we can go and get some photos or videos that they may not be able to come in and get themselves. And then we can post that to our Facebook page or send that directly to them so that they can utilize that. And that's how we share information and we share resources so that they're getting what they need to tell their story. and that we are making sure that what is being put out there is accurate. So it's really a great relationship that we have with them.
Have you ever seen it though, where there's a story and you give it to the media and it gets twisted?
I have seen it, but it's not so much where it's gotten twisted. It's more that they didn't understand. And I think as first responders and people that are in a specified field or a specialty field, we use jargon and information every single day.
Just like our field. Like I sound like I'm talking Spanish sometimes.
That the public doesn't understand.
Right, yeah.
So if I were to say something and not clarify it.
Right. Well, I had to ask you what PIO meant earlier.
Yes.
I was like, you're like, PIO, PIO. I'm like,
what is a PIO? I don't
know what that
understand.
is.
Right.
Public information officer, I learned, by the way.
So that happens, you know, and so, but that's the education part that we have to do with our media. And that I've seen where they didn't quite understand what was about, but then that has to fall back on me, because that means I didn't clarify and relay the information
correctly. So that's good. That's good to know that our media is reliable.
Oh, our media is very reliable.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, because I don't know what to believe anymore, you know, at least on the national media level, but local media, that's very good too.
Right.
Very refreshing.
And that's the good thing about having local media is that they live here. They're part of our community, so they have a viable reason for doing
they have like
what
accountability almost, because they're in the public.
Absolutely. They're part of our community.
For sure. Awesome. Anything else that we didn't cover? So we talked about tax dollars, we talked about prevention, medical prevention, fire prevention. If you didn't get a chance to watch it all the way through and you're just joining now, go back and watch, because we talked a lot about prevention, and then we talked about the media.
Let's talk a little bit more about medical prevention. Because let's talk finances. Let's go back to finances on that.
That's great. Love it.
I know that there are going to be some people out there that say, yeah, I know, listen to my doctor, do this. Let's take something like a fall. Right now, outside of cardiac arrests, falls are our #1 issue.
Really?
Yes, they're the #2 call that we get when it comes to run calls. So falls. Just 4 days, estimated 4 days in the hospital for a fall will cost you $62,000.
I don't want that bill.
Time away from work.
No way.
Healthcare, all of these things that will add up on that call.
Wow.
Now, if you are getting to a point, or you know somebody that has balance issues.
Right. This doesn't have to be you. This could be somebody you know.
Anybody, and they are struggling with coming to grips with that. This is the information that we want you to relay to them. This amount of money that you're going to put out, not to mention the number of people that have ongoing health issues that sometimes lead to fatalities because of these falls, because of the injuries.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, because of the injuries.
Can be prevented by something as little as $200.
Wow.
Now let's talk about how.
Right.
Non-slip rugs.
Okay.
Lights. Night lights in hallways and in rooms, making sure that you're moving furniture so that you have a clear path.
Right.
Grab bars in your bathroom.
Little things that we take for granted.
Little things can make a huge difference. Taking classes on balance. The Coconut Point, Lee Health Coconut Point, got some spectacular classes when it comes to things like
I interviewed a gentleman on here, actually, that wrote about balance, that has a balance
Wonderful.
program.
Look that up. Balance is the key issue that we're dealing with here.
So I have a Finance Friday. If you're wondering about balance, go back a few months ago, I think I did.
A little plug for last classes.
I know.
But those are something as simple as $200 can prevent something is expensive.
Well, and think about this, guys.
Deadly.
Like, it all comes back around. The money, it gets paid for somehow, right? So even if their insurance covers it, if you say, oh, well, their insurance will cover it. Well, guess what raises insurance premiums for all of us? Medical costs. So if the insurance companies are paying for all those recurring falls and all those calls, that gets passed on to the consumer in raising rates.
Right.
Raising taxes because of additional calls. It all comes back to us. So even if it doesn't affect you, it actually does affect you.
And I want you to remember one thing. Falling is not a normal part of aging. It is not. It is 100% preventable.
Do you think that, do you think that there's like a certain age where you say, you just need to prepare for it? Like just in general, is there like an age?
I don't think so, because, and I'll give you a good example.
Okay.
So my husband and I found a small leak in our shower. Now, what does this have to do with falls?
She'll get there.
I will get there. Right.
Right.
I'm Southern, so we take a long time. So when we tore out the wall to be able to get behind it to fix the leak, as we are redoing that wall in our bathroom, we started talking about aging into our house and making some changes that would help us as we age to stay in our home.
Right.
And one of the things is we are going to be putting in additional supports so that when we are ready to put in those grab bars, all we have to do is put them right in.
You know what, though? You just said something that just tripped my memory. Like when I'm bathing my children, like they're small kids, I can't tell you how nice it would be, how many times I've like put my hand on the wall to like get something and I slip.
Yeah.
Like it would just be nice, I think, at any age to have it.
And you would be one of our statistics.
Yeah.
Falling, and that's what we're saying. Falling is not a normal part of aging.
I fell last year and had to get stitches in my chin.
So you were one of our statistics.
They did come. They did come to the house.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So that can be something that can save you
I'm glad my
lot.
husband isn't here right now.
A lot of money, a lot of time.
Listen to what your doctor says.
Right. See, and you got it recorded, so he's going to be able to play it back.
I do, and I have the scar to prove it.
Yeah.
Nasty. Yeah. Awesome. This has been so good. Anything else?
Oh my gosh, we can talk forever.
I know. I'm trying to like keep it semi. We've already been going 31 minutes.
I know. You know what? Get a couple of ladies together. We need to just talk.
I know. I just.
But no, it's something that I am so passionate about, and that's helping people and helping them live their very best lives and enjoying it with health and vitality. And it's one of those things that I think, as an educator in the fire department, I want to make calls without the lights and sirens. I want to meet people in community events and things like that. And this is the goal of all the fire departments is we want to live in a community that is healthy and safe, and that they call us really much less than they do.
Well, and I always say, like in finance, like plan for emergencies because we know they will happen, right? But it's not technically an emergency if you knew it was a hazard. Do you know what I mean? So it's your responsibility to prevent that so you don't financially have to come up with that, or you don't have to, just worry about the injury, the aftermath, the therapy. I mean, all the things that go into it.
Live your healthiest life.
Right. It's just our responsibility, and what we do is we try to educate, which is why you were here. And you definitely did.
Good. I'm glad.
Thank you so much for being here. If you guys have any questions, please message us, find us on the website, or just message us right in this feed, and we will be happy to get Susan in contact with you. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. Have an awesome weekend, guys, and we'll see you soon.